Hi, everyone. I'm Rose Littlejohn, and I'm here with Kimberly Smith with Linking the Keys. Kimberly has secured a table at the BPW Upper Keys Empower You event on March 7th, and we're really excited to have her here today. Thank you so much for your support, Kimberly. She's going to give us some insight into her business. So let's kick things off. Would you please start by telling us a little bit about your business?
Absolutely, I'd love to. So, Linking the Keys was first established in 2023 in the fall. I discovered permanent jewelry and I had a deep feeling about it just instantly. The meaning behind it. I got my first piece done and I shared with the person that was putting it on me. I shared with her my story of why I wanted it. And it was just like I cried and she cried, and I just instantly fell in love with this idea of what permanent jewelry is and the meaning behind it. And I had a conversation with her about a month later and said, I don't want to step on your toes, but how do you feel about me starting my own business as well, doing this as well? And she said, absolutely. She was so wonderful and so supportive about it. And so I went for it. Decided to invest in it, and it's sort of a full circle type of business for me because I started in retail jewelry back in the 1990s.
Wow.
And I know that was forever ago. But that is actually how I supported myself and put myself through college at that time back in Ohio. So before I even moved here.
That's
So yeah,
fabulous. Thank you
Lincoln
for
the Keys was
sharing.
born.
So when you think about your product, how is it different from what others are doing? Or is it similar to what others are doing? Share a little bit about that perspective.
So permanent jewelry is very meaningful and it usually holds a very deep connection to people, just like all jewelry is, of course. You know how jewelry is passed down from grandmothers to daughters to grandchildren, like this is something that holds a lot of meaning because it holds a lot of value to people as well. But it's truly the meaning behind it that I love. So it's not just jewelry. It is put on and it's welded together, all custom fit for each individual person. And then when it's welded together, then it stays on. And so that piece is with you at all times. And that is one reason why it had such a connection within my heart and my soul because of it being on me at all times. And that's what I find that most people really love about it. You don't have to think about what jewelry you're going to wear today or how you're going to accessorize or anything. It's just always there, always on. You can look at it, you can touch it and remember the story behind it.
I love what you said about jewelry being very personal, right?
It is.
And there's a connection there, right? I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So when you
Mm-hmm.
think of your customers or people that you like to work with, or partner with, what comes to mind? Who's your target audience for your product?
It's interesting. I find that it's a wide variety of people, but definitely people that want to create something meaningful. That's going to be the thing that I find the most that people come to me for the most reason is they want to get a permanent bracelet with their mother, or they want to get a matching chain with their best friend, or they have, it was something that was really meaningful to me is that a client came to me because her dad had just passed away. And so she got a permanent bracelet with his birthstone in it. And so that's always with her.
Mm.
Something that she can always look down and remember it. She can touch it. She knows the meaning behind it. And it always brings some sort of comfort and peace to her. So those are the ones that are certainly the most meaningful and the type of clients that I really, really love working with. And then there's another aspect to it as well, which I also love, but it's also just the coming to the Keys and they want to have something to remember their trip by.
Mm.
So a lot of people, this is what I'm discovering over the years that I've been doing this, that a lot of people like to pick up something permanent from each location that they've visited. So they'll
Hmm.
go to Turks and Caicos and get a permanent bracelet there and go over to Spain and get one over there and then go to the Keys and get one there. So I get to provide that for them instead of a silly shot glass or something like
Oh
that.
my gosh, I hadn't even thought of that. That is
Yeah.
amazing. That is really amazing.
Hmm.
So when you think about you started your business in 2023, what have been some of the challenges that you have faced in growing your business here in the Keys and how you've addressed them?
What have I not been faced with? It's been a lot, but it's been wonderful to be able to face those challenges and overcome them. Um, I'm a single mom. I'm widowed, and so I have nobody. It's not like there is a dad on the weekends or anything like that. But my biggest challenge has been the fact that most of the events and the pop-ups and the appointments are all on the weekends, and I am challenged with that aspect of being taken away from time with my kids. Like I truly adore spending time with my kids. I love who they are as people, and I really just kind of want to spend as much time as I can with them, especially with my son being 18 and going off to college soon. So honestly, that has been the biggest challenge for me is being away from my kids on the weekends. There's a lot of other challenges as well, as far as like deciding which chain is going to be one of my best sellers. I have to invest a lot of money up front in order to buy these chains, in order to offer them to my clients. And, sometimes those don't go over as well as I thought they would. And finding events to, present my business to, things like that. So there's been a lot, but I've overcome all of them so far, and I'm still going.
That's fabulous. Well, thank you for sharing that. So this takes us to the end of the interview, Kimberly. And is there anything we haven't talked about that you would like to share with everyone about your personal story or your business that would be useful for us all to know?
Hmm. That's a good one, because I think probably the most asked question, aside from what is permanent jewelry, I get that that question probably more than anything. But probably the most asked question that I get when I have appointments in my studio where I'm really connecting with clients is the why. Like, why did I start this business? And I mean, there's a lot of meaning behind why I started it. And if I have the time to share that, I would love to share that with you.
Yeah.
Um, so when I met my husband, he had a band that was tied around his ankle. He tied it on himself, and it was interwoven. So it was a very long line, and then it was interwoven to create four lines. And then it was melted together so that it was an infinite line all together. There was no start, there was no end. Um, and all of his friends called it his Smitty band because that was his nickname was Smitty. And when we met and we fell in love, and he wanted to give me a promise ring because we weren't quite at that point where we wanted to get engaged yet, but he wanted it to be a nice commitment. He tied one of them on my ankle as well.
Mm.
And it's an old mariner's knot, is called a Turk's head. And there is a legend behind it that says if you cut it off, that your love will never find you back if you get lost at sea. And there's a luck aspect to it as well. And so he passed away suddenly when I was pregnant with our son, and very obviously unexpectedly. And he was cremated with this ankle band still on because I refused to have it cut off.
Gosh. Oh my gosh.
Um, but I left mine on, obviously. I would never even think of wanting to cut it off. And it actually wore through after 18 years. And it started to shrivel up. And then the last tiny little thread wore through on his birthday.
Ah.
Shockingly. And so when I discovered permanent jewelry, it just kind of felt like the perfect thing to, I don't want to say replace that Smitty band, but it was a way to honor him with something permanent that's going to, stay there and last, just like what that Smitty band did. So that's kind of the reason why I started it. My very first piece was an anklet, and that was the meaning behind why I got that. And that's how we cried together when the linker
Aw.
put it on me and everything. And so when I hear these stories about people and why they want to get permanent jewelry, that is truly what makes it so meaningful to me.
Well, thank you for sharing your personal story. It's
Thank you.
heartwarming. And thank you for your time today and also sharing your business with us. I know we didn't talk about what permanent jewelry is, and I'm
Yeah.
sure we're all better educated now based
Yeah.
on everything that you talked about. Thank you and have a great rest of the day.
Thank you so much, Rose.